here at Trilogy. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Callie.
And today we're going to be discussing Quiet at the End of the World by Lauren James.
Alright, a little summary from The Quiet at the End of the World. This is the back of the book. How far would you go to save those you love? Lowry and Shen are the youngest people on the planet after a virus caused global infertility. Closeted in a pocket of London and doted upon by a small aging community, the pair spend their days mudlarking and looking for treasure until a secret is uncovered that threatens their entire existence. In The Quiet at the End of the World, Lowry and Shen must decide what they are willing to sacrifice to save the whole human race. ...
I don't think they had to sacrifice anything. I don't know why she put that at the end of...
It's a little misleading.
It is a little misleading. And I do think that
because
it was very well written, but they didn't have to sacrifice anything.
Yeah, what was given up at the end? It seems like all they did was gain in the end.
But if she wanted to keep all the surprises, could she have said here?
It's just, I think that could have been taken out.
I think she could have said something like to the effect of everything that they thought was their world was turned upside down. Maybe something to that effect.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
like
okay.
everything that they thought was really going on had to be turned upside down by the end of it. But nothing was sacrificed. What was sacrificed? Do you know?
I hear ya.
Because I thought, oh, they're going to not be in love. Like, it's going to be on them to reproduce, and then they are not going to love each other. I do think it's interesting after reading it, the book cover, because it's code.
Uh-huh.
And it's cogs.
Yeah. Cool.
And this is like a central nervous system, or something like that. So I kind of thought that was really cool. I did think it was a great book. What did you guys think of Lowry and Shen?
I love them.
Yeah?
I did
too.
Yeah, I actually put a point in here. I wrote in the book today, this time, and I said, I am Shen, in that one part where he's a night owl, and they were texting, and she's like, did you fall back asleep? And he's like, don't talk to me.
They seemed a lot like brother and sister in the beginning, which makes sense because they grew up together. I thought all those little moments were really cute.
Yeah, I liked them. I thought they were really good main characters. I liked how they could just be young. They were the youngest. I liked that everybody kind of catered to them, and like I really liked that. So they could just kind of have fun.
Yeah.
Just so different than any other like dystopian apocalypse book we see.
Yeah.
Like, there's no extra resources usually. Everybody is just in this giant pain. I loved like the different kind of apocalypse that we got to see.
I thought she painted the world really well.
Yeah,
Because it's really cool.
Because it's almost like they are in surplus because they're so little people. So it's like weren't they like living in a mansion?
Yeah.
And, like they had all the food in the world that they wanted, and
There were robots catering to them.
At first I thought they were going to be living in Buckingham Palace. I thought
How
they were going
cool
to
would
have
that
taken
be?
over Buckingham Palace, because I thought, and then their last name was Windsor. Like, her last name was Windsor, and so that's like the royal family name.
Ah.
So I'm wondering if that is why, if that's one of her mom's descendants was probably somebody that was like a rich royal, obviously.
Yeah.
Had been the people that could have afforded it. And then all the animals' names were like William and Kate, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Or not Kate, it was William and Elizabeth and Victoria and Albert.
Victoria and Albert, yeah.
And I liked
I
that.
thought that,
was
yeah,
so
that
cute.
was cool. I wanted to read a quote.
Okay.
From the very beginning when she began painting the world. This is Lowry saying, I think about the legacy we're leaving behind all the time. Pollution and plastic and buildings and everything else. As one of the last humans, my choices and decisions are imbued with the full weight of the billions of lives that came before me. And I thought that was like, this is the world we live in right now with like the plastic island floating around the sea. And it reminded me of the quote that says, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. And I was really inspired reading about this decaying, gross world, like to be more zero waste. Did anyone else feel that way? Like I felt like I wanted to clean up.
See, that's so
That was
funny
really
because
interesting.
I highlighted a totally separate quote that was not the same thing, but along the same lines.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It took a long time for me not to feel guilty when I disliked something. But I realize now that it's not my job to shoulder the entire weight of mankind's creativity and passion. I only have room to carry my own, and scuba diving is something I love to do.
I literally did the same one.
You did?
Yes, I did.
I love that because it was like, how much pressure would you feel if you were one of the last people on Earth to like everything and know a lot about everything.
Right.
But you only have enough room for what you care about.
Yes.
So it's kind of the inheritance of the future generation.
What page is
I
that?
didn't highlight it, but I thought I would have
No
been
way!
that. That is
Oh.
so cool. I would have been I don't know how it would be if I was her, because I was reading and I was like, no, I would pretend like I was interested in everybody's thing and then I'd be a nervous wreck.
You would shoulder. I said very applicable to everyday life. You have to do you. Because that's like that's self-pleasing. Everybody else.
Yeah, because imagine if you're sitting there all day with someone who's like trying to teach you to sew or something, you'd be like,
I don't like
oh,
this.
like, thanks for showing. Yeah,
but then doesn't it like when you die,
pressure.
your art of sewing is gone forever?
Yeah.
I have to carry it on.
I know. And oh man, some of the stuff that she talked about in here I loved. My first thoughts were, I thought that it was a disease because, you know, like when they start getting the nosebleeds, we have no idea really what happens. Like, I know that on the back it says that caused global infertility, but like, what if it killed a lot of people we didn't know? I thought, okay, like when they're scuba diving and she like hit something, you know, and it said something like a tile. I thought it said like a tile roof, and I was like, oh my gosh, they flooded the world and then built a like new world over it because to like suppress the virus, you know?
Oh wow.
And then I got scared because I was like, oh wait, but then what if they start digging it back up? And that's what this is going to be about. Like, I had all these weird ideas.
Your theories are always like,
I know.
Like, I never thought that.
Yeah,
Did you think that?
She always thinks very
like,
big with her theories. I love it.
Like, wow, this is going to be
That's
crazy.
That would be very dramatic of a way to solve the problem.
I thought it was amazing that they still have internet, they still have power, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Like, when she called her dad, I was like...
And tablets and video chat. Yeah. That was cool. And then to find out, spoiler alert, that it's actually 300 extra years.
5.
Was it 5?
Since it was actually the year, like, 2500 instead of 2100.
Yes.
I really liked the way that we could look into the past from all of those social media posts.
I love that.
That was a really interesting way to do it.
This is the first one, actually. Weird, I just turned on that. It's the first thing that she saw. It's the doctor's report dropping women conceiving babies.
Go ahead and show it to the camera. Really cool way to write.
Yeah.
And then every chapter heading has
I'll show you guys
what they found, which I didn't really see how that totally tied in.
Oh,
I skipped some of them.
Ate it up.
Did you?
I read every single one, even when I was like really pressed because
Deadlines.
I still read them all because that's so me. Like, that's what I wanted in Muse.
Yes.
And that's what I got in this book. And I did say love the entrances at the beginning of the chapter.
Wow, I really did.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
No, I kind of skipped over those. It's hard for me to read them. I don't know why, like, I couldn't read them very well, but every time I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm just skipping this because it's hard to see. It's kind of small. You like that adventure aspect, like discovery.
I do love a good discovery, especially when I found out they were treasure hunters. I was like, yes, they didn't have to treasure hunt to survive.
Yeah, they're
And that's
it's just for fun.
And there was something else that she said about when there is no future, the past is the only thing you can look
I
to.
highlighted that.
Loved it.
Yes.
And I just thought, wow, what a great quote. Of course, like all the stuff that they were finding because the earth had like eroded, you know, that there was like all this older stuff, like medieval stuff, and like I was
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I thought it would all be like 21st century stuff.
And even at the very end where they're like thinking that everyone else is going to be dead with the malware, they're like, well, let's just travel. Like, that's all we want to do.
I read that. I was like,
let's just go discover and let's just, you know, enjoy.
Why are they not doing this? Like, why haven't they done
I know,
that?
right?
Because the robot parents were so like, they didn't let them do anything. They didn't let them drill or scuba dive. And I actually wrote a note. If these parents that are robots were trying to prepare them for a future where it was just Shen and Lowery, why didn't they give them more experiences to actually be on their own? You're truly training for something. I just thought that
they dropped them in the wilderness and be like,
figure it out.
Why were they training them to be alone?
Because they knew one day they would die out, right?
That the robots would die out?
Yeah, they were because they were still trying to fix the infertility problem in humans. They thought, oh, if we don't fix it in time, we're all going to die out and they're going to be left. So, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. How did you guys think about this part? Why are you laughing? Are you laughing at me?
No.
What do you think about the part where Lowery is talking about not being with Shen? And she said, but that can't happen. I absolutely won't let it. If Shen and I date, then there's a chance we'll break up, and I can't risk that. He's all I've got. It's safer for us to stay as we are as friends. There's no chance I'll lose him that way. How did you feel about that in the beginning?
Like, he's the only one left in the world, sister. Like,
yeah, you don't have a choice.
You don't really have a choice. Like, who else are you gonna be?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I thought it was.
You thought it was silly?
I thought it was a little silly. I was like, But she's young,
right?
Too. She's only like what, 16?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like.
Did it give her age? I don't even know.
I don't know.
I
She
think
sounds young.
I'm pretty sure that they put her age as like 16 and his is like 18. But she said, "Oh, all of our family is like trying to put us together."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like imagine being a 16-year-old and everyone's like putting you together, and it's like your brother.
Yeah.
You know, just would kind of be like, eh. But of course, then there's no more, which was really, really cute.
Yeah, that was really cute. I liked when Shen was like, I was just waiting for you to like me.
Yeah.
And then he opened up and he was like, I love you since day one.
Yeah, I skipped over that part, but yeah. As soon as they had that conversation, I was like,
Because so funny, like every single time.
You skipped over
I did. When he told her that he loved her, when he was like, I love you. And she's like, what? No, you don't. Like that part?
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay.
I had to
I ate it up.
I had to see what they were gonna do.
The stuff that I skipped was like all of the more like action stuff. Like I kind of skimmed over like when they're like on the cliff and like in the water and like I don't know.
You guys, I didn't skip anything. Whenever I was reading about Mitch, I kept picturing him as Wally.
Wally.
Oh, reminded me of Wally.
Yeah.
I pictured the thing that he picked up as like Wally or Eva, and then she murdered him.
And then it's like, at one point I said, give Mitch a body.
Yeah.
Give Mitch a body. Let him be
Because
because
he was he was
He died.
later version. Or
They
whatever.
brought him back.
What?
He's back. Remember they went to excavate and they got him back.
No.
Yes. Read your book, Kelly.
What?
I think at the end they say that they're gonna go
At the
save
meeting,
them or
they're
something.
like, this is what we need to do. We need to go get those robots, and they go back.
And they like raise their hand. They're like, we'll go. Like we'll do it.
I said with all of Maya's posts, it literally felt like we were living back in the virus days. And it was a very unique
And when
way.
I was reading those, I was like, I wonder why she didn't just set the story here. I wonder why she didn't make it when they realized that infertility had become widespread. When the baby grows like first came out and all of that, that would have been a cool story in and of itself. But she chose to tell it kind of.
I think because of the surprise. Because
Mm,
we didn't know that they were baby girls, but I called it over here.
Did you see?
Did
I
you?
didn't even like think about that.
I got really creeped out at that baby doll scene, but I didn't think that that's what it was going to be.
I was freaked out at that too, but I really did think like, oh, but that's how people would react if we became infertile. People would make an app.
Oh yeah.
I
think that was
very
Elon Musk
realistic.
would make
Elon Musk
a
needs to read
baby
this
robot.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might not though. He's very anti-AI.
I got a little freaked out at the AI in here.
Mm-hmm.
That they were so realistic and so humanistic that they couldn't tell. That's one of my biggest fears. Ex Machina.
Yeah.
She's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Have you seen Ex Machina?
Mm-mm.
It's a AI story where she like spoiler alerts for
plays
Ex
them.
Machina, but she gets loose in the end and she looks completely human and she integrates into society and it's creepy.
Integrates into society.
I was waiting for them to revolt the whole time. I thought that's what it was going to be. Like,
Who
what will
revolt?
you sacrifice to? I don't know. The robots. I thought because like they were tired. Like I thought that Mitch was going to be the one that kind of like saved the day. Like because he was like he had been around humans the longest. So I thought that he was going to like be more compassionate, but that the like servant robots were going to like revolt.
Mm.
That's what I thought it was going to happen. I thought it was going to be a robot revolt story.
Oh, see, no, did you?
No.
Your theories, girl!
I have a question. Would the world be calmer? They're like watching TV, they're just like talking, you know, and everything like that. Like there is no pressure. Like, but would the world be calmer if you were like the only two people? Or would you feel like this weird pressure?
I mean, I think she explains the weird pressure, but
Yeah.
what do you do with it? You know what I mean?
Right. But would people have anxiety anymore?
I wouldn't. I'd be like, whatever, this is the end. This is where I said, oh my god, they are the babies. Page 207 before it got told.
Oh.
I knew it, and I called it, and I wrote it. 207, they are the
I should
babies.
start doing that. That's a great idea.
I figured that one of the people that they knew would be in the colony.
I'm looking at all my notes here.
And those are good.
Oh yeah!
Okay, I found the quote that I wrote this note about.
Okay.
Reading her account makes my stomach twist up in knots. I'm suddenly grateful for the freedom I have, even if it does come with frequent safety talks. I'm so glad the world isn't like that anymore. People are calmer now. I wonder what changed. So I wonder if it was because they were robots.
Ooh. It took the best aspects of humanity
Yeah.
and they created like a serene.
Well, and also I think the humans were the ones who had this crisis of the infertility, right? So when you're a baby grow, and that's not what you're concerned with, it's not your problem to be stressed out about. You know what I mean? That was the humans. That's why they were created. Maybe that's part of it too.
What caused the virus? We just don't know, do we?
Like the virus, the infertility?
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah, that was the one question I was left with. Like, they don't ever say, like, what happened. Like, everyone just started getting nosebleeds and the virus was unleashed, but they didn't say if it was, like, from aliens or from something. I don't know.
I guess it's kind of like the Black Plague. We know that it was, like, you know, the bacteria on flea that bit the rats. But, like,
you don't know what
caused that bacteria. It just had happened so long before, you know, and there was no way. And they talk about how, like, the earth will cleanse itself. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, like, if that is just kind of true.
I thought that there would be another pocket of society.
I did too.
Like, you know, like, a lot of people talk about, like, those societies that pull themselves away from our society, like the Amish. Mm-hmm. Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, there are whole people groups who don't participate in certain aspects of modern culture. Mm-hmm. And I thought that maybe there would be some type of remnant of that stayed healthy.
I thought that they were going to be in the tunnel, because I'm always there's going to be a pocket of society that's like hidden.
Yeah.
But
what a great place to live with all the supplies, and like that's a great idea.
And that's what I thought. I was like, oh, well, maybe there's like going to be a ton of people in there that weren't infertile and just like didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, like maybe the government said whoever didn't get a nosebleed, like the few immune, stash them in the tunnel, have babies.
I totally thought it was going to be aliens, though, because they kept saying about Shen, how he was obsessed with aliens, and so I'm like, okay, this is all going to tie in the end, and it's going to be like an alien race that had infected them, and then had something to do with the baby grows. Like, I thought it was all going to lead up to aliens, but no.
At the end,
just an obsession that he had.
That would have been cool.
At the end,
that he loved aliens.
I know, he was like such a real boy, you know. At the end, that he said, if you're an alien, know that I love and respect you and everything you do, but please be nice to anything living on this planet. We really like it, Shen.
I wish she would write like a tiny novella about when the capsule falls to the earth.
Yes.
I was so happy that Mitch found somebody. Like another little robot.
Yeah, that was cute when he like pulled the little robot out, their flashing lights. And
yes, there's the latch.
Yeah, and it really did remind me of Wally.
So why do you think Mitch stayed with them in the first place from the beginning, like when the crash happened? Because it's not really like in his programming or in what he was meant to do. He just kind of from that moment latched on.
That was a clue that we needed to see because Mitch protects the humans, and he didn't protect the robots, right? It was in his programming for the human DNA. So when they came along, he was like, "Oh, let's save them."
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I think anyway.
I liked Mitch.
I did too. I like the part where they talked about how Shen is really good with intellectual stuff and Lowry's really good with tools. And then at the end, that's what saved them. Like he was doing the coding and like looking up stuff, and then she was the one that was like drilling and like opening up their bodies and stuff. And I literally wrote in there that they make a great husband and wife team because they're opposites.
She says that they have a baby at the end, right?
Yeah, and they named Adam.
Their interactions were so cute.
But was it a real baby?
No, it was a baby girl.
I was convinced that it was going to end with them having a real baby and that she wasn't really infertile. Like that, I was from the like page 1. I was like, this is gonna end, and she's gonna have her own belly.
Yeah, I thought
they're gonna fix it somehow, but they don't.
I thought that she was fertile the whole time. I thought that they were fertile because they were the IV eggs.
But all the other IV eggs weren't.
That's true. They were saving the eggs, remember?
And they were slowly releasing them, and those people weren't able to have kids. So I guess it didn't make sense that they would, but I thought that they were gonna figure out a way, or like something was gonna happen.
Like a breakthrough.
I thought that they were gonna do the deed in a helicopter,
and then you'd be like, oh,
when they're kissing, and then that the story was gonna continue going, and it was gonna be like, oh my gosh, I feel sick, and then she was gonna be pregnant.
Well, I thought too, because at the top it says next generation or final generation, new generation, something like that on one of these end chapters, and I was like, oh, I bet she's gonna find out she's pregnant.
I guess she doesn't finalize it though. It could be.
Yeah, it's not said.
So you can kind of take it however you want. I think it was a baby girl. Do you think it was a baby girl?
It seems like it's pointing to a baby girl, but I was hoping it was a real baby.
Was it a baby girl?
Probably.
Because it was probably the first baby grow, which is why they named it Adam. You know, like the first new baby grow. So it's going to be like the new generation of like whatever's. Does that mean that Lowry and Shen will be like infamous now?
They're the last true humans.
And they're the ones that have created the new world.
Do you guys think that the baby grow generation counts as the human race?
Throwing hard hits over here.
It's a tough one because
Because
then we're getting into artificial intelligence, and I think this book is very pro artificial intelligence.
And are you very pro?
I don't know. I'm honestly I'm with Elon Musk on this one, where it could go. It could be a peaceful transition.
Do you know what Elon Musk says about AI? He says that if we're gonna dabble in it, then you need to connect it to a human.
Yeah.
So that there's some reasoning and some love and
Yeah.
like the human
because he had
experience.
he had that issue with the what's it called? The chat bot.
Yeah, that said I want to destroy all humans.
Well, that was that other robot, but the chat box one was where it's not called chat. I don't know what it's called, but there was like this online chat thing that he created, and they were talking to each other. They created their own language, and he had to shut it down. He was like, "That's scary, like that they could create their own language and start talking to one another."
I have a story about this. If you guys want to go on YouTube and look at conspiracy theories, there's this guy that claims that he went to the year
Yes, I know.
4000 or something, and that there was no government anymore. There was only an AI, and it was hovering like a pod over the water, and that it was a socialist. Like everybody had whatever they wanted, whatever they needed, but everything was the same, and it was a one world government, and it was artificial intelligence controlling the world.
Elon Musk says he has gone to meetings with the government, and he has begged them to stop. He said, I have fought against it. And he said, and they have got to be so careful, but I don't know if they'll listen. And that terrifies me because he is legitimately probably like the Einstein of our world, like of our generation. Will never see another person like him. And that terrifies me. But he also said that it could be peaceful, and that if we lean into it and we don't fight it, and you know the AI comes and you know it'll be like a, I don't know if he said this exactly, but what I gathered was like more of like a pet, like they'll think that we're cute, you know, like he didn't like say those words, but like that's kind of like the vibe I got. Or it'll be like a
apocalyptic.
He doesn't think that they'll have any use for us. Like what we can't do anything that robots couldn't do. Easier, faster, better.
It's true. We're useless next to an
We're
AI.
useless next to an AI, and that's what scares me. But then when you put them in a sweet little baby body,
Right. Okay.
because everybody's infertile,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, oh, okay. I mean that is what would happen.
But see, it's so
If
weird
this happened.
though, because they didn't do it the same way as we always think of AIs. They made them to have to like learn and grow.
It's true.
It wasn't just like you put artificial intelligence in a baby body and they knew everything. Like that would be very different.
What do you think that Maya would have done if Darcy would have had to be rebooted to a newborn? Do you think that she would have rebooted her to a newborn? Or do you think that she would have just been like, okay, well, we lost a child? Because she's so pro baby grow.
I mean, if there's any chance for you to save your child, pretty much, you would. Even if it has to, you have to reboot them, and they just lose their memories, right?
Like everything.
Like
Like it would be like
personality and stuff too.
yeah. So it'd be like
So like a
she
whole
would
new
just have to be
baby.
a newborn, so she would have to like raise it again after all
I think
that.
she still would have.
You think she would have? I kind of do too.
I think she would have said that she lost a child, but she's going to probably have another child. I love that she was really reluctant in the beginning.
Oh, baby grow.
Yeah, and she was like, I don't know, guys. And then at the end, she had like enacted laws that Waverly Law.
I loved all of the like cultural stuff that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like those were really nice touches to see how everyone reacted, like the babies that were being stolen.
Yes, because that's what would happen.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
so happy,
People
and then
would be-
of course the app itself and how the progression of what people did with the baby grows. You know, all of that stuff, like so culturally relevant. Like that's, I think that's how it would happen.
Yeah.
From start to finish, I think that this is how it would happen. I'm just so
and, like,
impressed. Like,
even-
how did she think of that?
Yeah.
Have you seen the Reborn dolls?
No, but does
So
she have a
It's so
Tamagotchi?
creepy.
You know what I'm saying? And then she thought this plot because she saw a Tamagotchi. Like, I've got to know.
But then they even go to school, and there's like a real child.
Yeah. Biological.
Yeah.
Schooling.
Getting bullied, and like, I mean, just the whole thing. It's like, it's exactly what would happen.
Did you know that infertility rates are rising across the world?
Mm-hmm.
That sperm count is down by like 40% in the last 30 years.
Interesting.
This could probably be like some fears that she's reading about and looking at. I really think it could happen.
It wouldn't be terrible. This doesn't seem like it'd be a terrible end of the world. Not like compared to like Walking Dead, my lord.
Compared to all the ways the world could end,
You tell me I'm gonna have to like, I'm gonna have to like
Until that
kill somebody for
AI
a Snickers
goes
bar.
crazy.
These kids are getting scones.
True. Scones and tea.
I can't do it.
Crumpet.
I can't do
Muffins.
it. I'm built for this
Look,
apocalypse.
it's really is the quiet at the end of the world. Like, you just give them a cup of tea and let the world fade away. It's okay.
I wonder why the robots decided to like be in 80-year-old bodies.
Yes.
Why wouldn't they decide to be in like just like a little bit younger, you know?
Yeah.
But maybe they couldn't control it or something.
The parts were all breaking, right?
But then they're gonna run into population control. Because those robots,
Don't die.
population control.
This will be the opposite issue.
Yeah.
They went from 300 people on the Earth to now we have too many people.
Probably be like the jump that has happened in the actual like timeline of creation to like this point after the Industrial Revolution. It like
Is that
shot
the
up.
baby boomers?
No, it was like once I guess like advancements in medicine and overall health and things like that, it just went up from like not that many people on Earth to just
Have you ever read Quiet by Susan Chain, I believe? It's talks about introversion, and it talks about how the Industrial Revolution was one of the biggest things that promoted the extrovert ideal. So you went from people who grew up in small towns who knew each other really well, and you could be more reserved. You didn't really have to sell yourself, to when the Industrial Revolution happened. You then had to go out and you had to introduce yourself to get jobs. You had to meet new people because you were in big cities where you didn't know everybody. And so the idea of extroversion being the most ideal rose. Whenever someone talks about the Industrial Revolution, I immediately start thinking about introversion and extroversion.
it was like the worst thing that's ever happened to the world and the best thing.
It is sad when people look down on introverts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, why can't we just love one another?
And it's so funny because she talks about, she's
Right.
like, well, introverts get better grades, they do this. It's like,
I feel like
You know.
introverts regulate their emotions a little bit better than extroverts.
interesting.
I'm an extrovert, you guys are introverts, right?
Well, I don't know.
I'm kind of an
You more of
ambivert.
an ambivert?
Maybe.
I'm like 100% introvert, so.
But like when you're overwhelmed, you don't put up with it. You're like, Lindsay does this all the time.
I do.
I'm gonna retire now.
Go to bed, it's like
My mom.
5:30. It's like, I'm just gonna
And
go
the
to
kids
bed
are
now.
running around the house, and someone's having an argument. There's a debate over here, and Lindsay's like, "Bye."
Bye. Yeah,
But I
that's
have to
literally what I
stay.
do.
Even if I'm not enjoying the conversation, I'm like, like I have to stay, and I feel like it.
no, I'm out. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will do the exact same thing. It'll be in the middle of like a movie. Somebody
like,
says something. Right.
I'm
I'm
tired,
like,
yeah.
I guess I'm gonna go lay down. I have a lot of headaches sometimes.
We'll literally be like, "We just had dinner. Where's Lindsay?" Like, you'll just
like up here. I get headphones in.
Seriously,
like her
read in my
dream.
book.
That's how you get your
Writing
energy
usually,
back,
right?
you know?
Yeah.
It will sap the energy out of me sometimes if I'm in a group
Yeah.
that are like, you know, I can't do it. But sometimes I'm like, I can't walk away.
We call that FOMO, fear of missing out. One of my friends has such bad FOMO that she'll be falling asleep on the couch. I gotta stay. I can't go to bed. She'll be like dozing off, but she has to stay in the action, you know?
Oh, I'll wake up sometimes and I'll laugh. Like, if somebody's we're watching a movie, somebody starts laughing and I'm asleep, I will wake up and start laughing. As if I knew what they were laughing at, because I don't want them, you know?
A little people pleasing.
Yeah.
Do you struggle with people pleasing?
Yeah.
Do you struggle with people pleasing?
Yeah,
That's
sometimes.
why I think I'm built for this world. 300 people.
300.
That's
And
nothing.
they knew everybody.
I-
They were like, they looked at the news. Oh yeah, that's that person. It's her night to go. I loved that. I was like, you know everybody.
See, this is kind of my dream. I'll be honest with you. 300 people, one day every year. You just go to somebody's house and just hang out with them and learn something. Cool.
I
Gives me
really
60
wanted
days.
it to all come back where she was like, wait a second, you're Darcy? The one who taught me this when I was sitting on your living room like this, when I was doing that. Like, I wanted her to be like, I just feel like there was a disconnect there of like all the time that she would have spent with this Darcy.
Oh, to not know that it was her?
No. I was fine with her not knowing, but when she knew, I wanted her to say something like, oh, I've been spending my time there, and she taught me how to do this, and I had a sleepover when I was 5, and because she mentions doing those
She does
things.
mention it, but she does when that part happens.
I wanted it to be like,
oh yeah,
I want it to be better than just like oh yeah, I miss them a lot.
Yeah.
She just like walked off.
But then she was like, my parents would have wanted me to have a child. It's a cool concept.
It is a really cool concept. I really liked this book. It wasn't just your typical apocalypse book.
I feel like this would actually be a good
Movie.
like product for like moms who've had stillborn babies, moms who have lost children. You know what I mean? Older people who are having dementia who remember. You know what I mean? Like this is not a bad product. I mean, as long as it's not straight up AI. It's just like a simple interface. That would be easy, you know? That would be easy. Like that would be easy to just put like a baby and like, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying.
I really liked it. It was just such a different concept of an apocalypse, and I just loved that.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing I took away from it was like it ended up being completely different from how I thought it was going to be. Like you go into it thinking it's going to be such a classic dystopian type of story, and it's like a lot more chill than that, and a lot more introspective, I guess. Like meaning of life. I don't know. It was cool the way she put it all together. Even if you do find a cure to infertility when all the humans are dead, does it matter?
They could make another clone. So they were the 3rd or 4th Shen and Lowery's. So they were exactly the same as the ones before. So if they found the cure, they just make some more clones. I don't know.
It's a tough one. I think that it was okay for them to let it go
Mm-hmm.
and let the robots have their thing.
After 300 years, I mean, and you haven't even made a little bit of headway, it's over. And they said that. It's done now. We can stop.
So if you were like the last, like let's say like you were one of the 2 last people on Earth, what would you do? Like in this, like you were in this
Like
time period.
Like if I was Lowry? If I was Lowry, I mean, I would just want to do the same thing that she does. Like enjoy my life, travel, get to do the things that I'm into.
Yeah, like I would just watch movies.
Yeah, like
Hang out with my boyfriend.
just enjoy the time that you got left. It's not like you got any like cares in the world. It's not like you got to figure out like how to make money.
Right.
Like there's no way you can get pregnant, so you don't have to think about like that. You don't have to have a career, like think about your job or like you know you don't have responsibilities. It's just like
You can call a bot when you need another crumpet.
yeah, you don't have to do anything.
I know what
You
Callie's
literally-
gonna
you
say.
can go anywhere in the world. Like no one's there, so it doesn't matter. So you can just do anything, just chill.
I wouldn't want to go anywhere in the world.
You wouldn't want to travel anywhere?
I don't think so.
I would do exactly what they wanted to do. I would start in Africa and I would do the path.
I'm
Starting
gonna
Africa,
I would
you
do
go
the
all the
victory
way-
lap. I thought that was a brilliant way.
victory
The
lap?
victory
Yeah.
lap. I thought that was a brilliant way to say that.
Maybe if you could bring some robots along.
Yeah,
But
I
I was
recommend it.
horrified.
And his
I was
girlfriend
horrified
and
at the fact
boyfriend.
that all of the robots were gone. And they were doing this by themselves with like ancient technology.
Yeah.
Like you could get stranded so easily without the proper gear and food and just like, well, it was a great trip down the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it'd be great. Like you would have to like really plan.
Yeah.
Like, really plan, especially since if everything was like 500 years old.
That's what I'm saying.
I would still do it. Like I would like want to like fly a helicopter somewhere, and then I would like hike or like camp and hike around and stuff.
It was good though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
That's good enough for me.
We'll have to do that next time though.
What word thing?
Like our first word, like one word.
One word
describes our
impression.
impression. Thanks for watching our review on The Quiet at the End of the World. Join us next week. We are going to be reviewing Cruel Prince, and I'm so excited. So read the book, and we are going to put some discussion questions on our Instagram. So follow us there, and don't forget to subscribe. Tell everybody you know about the Fair Hair Trilogy. Let's be a trilogy tribe. See you guys next week. Bye.